Hey everybody. Today I want to go over some brief points on what makes a good security solution, which is also known as antivirus. There have been a number of different flavors in the way that this type of product has evolved over time. Back when my IT experience was really getting off the ground in the late 90s, the internet was still finding its legs. So a lot of the initial products were basically search and removal tools. And this worked for a while until there became this other classification of software that was not really malware, but it was more adware. Just more spammy stuff, pop ups, toolbars, desktop add ons, things like that. These products would remove them. So eventually the antivirus products started incorporating this into their repertoire and just move forward. So now let's get to about the mid, let's say like 2007, 8. You started seeing more products that were like, 3-in-1s or internet security. They were anti-malware, anti-spyware, and they were, identity theft protection. So it's just basically adding more features. This is also really when the software started to get a lot more clunky across the board. But we'll get into more of that later. Let's move up to today. Is the behavior has changed quite a bit because there are more things that may not be considered malware that are just considered, potentially unwanted programs. They may not be flagged technically as something you should get rid of, but it typically leaves it up to the user, or these items get quarantined and not outright deleted or cleaned. But there have been a number of different ways that a lot of these attack vectors are coming in, so the behavior of the antivirus or security solutions have to change too. So right now, you may hear the term EDR, XDR. That's endpoint detection and response and extended detection and response. These are very robust tools that aren't just your standard, search and, destroy kind of thing, or, preventative maintenance. They are analyzing just behavioral, um, behavioral analysis of some of these new threats that are emerging, because some of them aren't outright malware. They're just legitimate programs that'll get on a system, and over time they'll start behaving strangely. And these programs offer like a wide array of robust solutions, and they typically do get pricey, and you'll see these more in a business environment than an at-home environment. So with these potentially unwanted programs, this is something that used to happen to me quite often in IT, because if I went into a new business and I was trying to scope out the network, I'd run a network scanner. I'd just look at their IP range, see what was on it, and just look at devices, but these would get flagged. So it does happen, but again, this goes back to user interaction. So, why do these get flagged? How does it actually work? Well, each piece of code that gets flagged is basically given a signature. These signatures are, think of them as just like a fingerprint for each type of code that's being detected. These go into a database and just basically keep getting compiled, and every time there's a new variant of something, it gets a new signature. So this goes back to the importance of why you need to update your software. It is critically important on a security solution level to do this. Now, in most cases for your business organization, you're probably using an EDR or XDR. This is handled by your IT company. It's offsite. These routinely update. And if they don't for so long, the IT company should be getting a flag saying, hey, this computer hasn't updated this module in so long. So very important there. Now, moving on to that, one of the things that the EDR and XDR typically do, and some just standalone antivirus, is it's the background scanning real-time threat monitoring. So this is stuff that's on the fly, and this means it's pretty hands-off. So you don't have to do a manual scan in order to find these things. If there's something that's on your system, they're just continually scanning, looking for anything that's changed. So say a non-flagged or non-signature based piece of malware gets on your computer, flies under the radar, but then later extracts something, tries to install something that is flagged, this is how it gets detected. So web-based blocking, that's another good thing of a lot of modern products. Like if you try to go to a website based on a link that tries to take you elsewhere, you'll see it blocked for one reason or another. Or if you're clicking on something and there's a pop-up that happens that tries to put itself in the background. This was a common thing that I've seen for many years. Just because there will be a background window that you don't notice, it'll be trying to install stuff, it may go away, so forth. So that's really another area that they protect you. So a couple things to know. Not all products are created equal, and there's a couple of these that are just bad, and have been since as far back as I can remember. And those three names you should recognize. That's Norton, that's McAfee, and that's AVG. AVG is probably the least of the offensive of these to me, because I've seen Norton and McAfee just completely miss things that have been detected by a number of other products. And when I was first getting going, I used to do a lot of computer cleanups, and I would routinely see these tools were the, kind of the incumbent antivirus on a system. They would have no idea that a threat was there. They would do nothing, and these other tools would be finding it left and right. In the case of AVG, a lot of times it would only later realize that, oh shoot, I've been compromised after another tool had identified something, and then it would subsequently flag it as well. So, not great. Norton became known for being very cumbersome, weighing down your system, slowing it down, just basically being a heavy program. McAfee, that was known for breaking your internet. I had more looks of disbelief that was just so routine for many years because it would just break your internet. The only way to fix it, there's nothing wrong with your computer, nothing wrong with your hardware, your internet. It was just McAfee. Like, it did a process and it would have to be removed in order to fix it. And also, typically, these softwares, when they broke, it'd be very hard to remove and fully get them removed. So you would have to get removal tools that each of these companies specifically made for their own products. That's not to say that other companies don't make these. Kaspersky, glad there's a Kaspersky removal tool out there, let's put it that way. But needless to say, in home environments, I use two different products than I did at my business. Sometimes the products have to, do double duty, and they may just fit, in one place better than the other. So really, it's kind of one of those things that you just have to be smart about, what you're using, and don't use it because it's a name that you just heard for so many years. Like, there's one product that used to be great for many, many years, and it was called ESET, E-S-E-T. Hardly anybody had ever heard about it, but it had a really good heuristic analysis tool. And heuristics are basically where you're using similar behavior of other things that have been flagged or given definitions, or signatures rather, and using that behavior to detect, other software that may not have actually been, categorized in any database. So, anyway, without this video getting too long, it's just a number of things to consider, some basics, and if you have any questions or comments, please sound off as always. So, thanks and have a good one.